yeah, we got a good plan together. We've kind of been, it's hard when you're in camp and you're trying to install stuff and you're trying to get the veterans, new looks to pull stuff for games in season, but you still got to prepare the young guys and make sure that we got a good game plan together and we're communicating, and a bunch of guys are going to be playing a bunch of different positions, and so, but it's exciting. I think we got a good plan. I think our guys are dialed in, and I'm looking forward to Thursday.
How long have you envisioned this one in your head?
Man, I think obviously you dream about playing in the NFL, but once you get here, you take it one day at a time. I think that's the way I've approached practice, and it's gone well. I think just you're on it. Coach T talks about living in the moment and not looking ahead. Obviously, just controlling what you can control in the moment in that period, in team and 7-on, then working to the next day. So that's the way I'm looking at it. That's the way I've always looked at it. Obviously, we're excited about a lot of us will be playing in our first NFL game, but we got to take care of the next 48 hours to give ourselves the best chance for success.
Looks like it's been pretty eventful for you both ways. Can you talk about dealing with the good and the bad and try to stay in that moment?
Yeah, I think that's just my mindset from college. It's our mindset here with the culture of the Steelers. It's what Coach T talks about. So that's the way we're going to approach it, whether it's a practice or a game. Is hey, one play at a time. If one play goes bad, the next play could be the one that wins it, and the play that gets you back in the game. So that's how we look at it, and I'm just excited to use these next 2 days to prepare, put the finishing touches on our plan, and then get out there and play football.
Do you have a feel for how much and what order you guys are going to play?
Yeah, I do, but they told us, but they told us not to say anything. So you ask Coach T about that. I'm not going to be the one to talk.
But you do expect to play, though.
For sure. Yeah.
Mason, you scored in the 2-minute drill. You drove the team down the field, scored a touchdown. You've been having some good practices of late. The coaches have commented favorably, publicly anyway. Do you feel you're progressing in big steps?
I just want to progress. I mean, I don't. You guys can analyze how big the steps are, but I'm just focused on completing passes, making sure I'm taking mental steps forward every day, making sure I'm controlling the line of scrimmage with the offensive line protection, making sure the guys are in the right spots. We got a lot of new faces. Guys are filtering through, in and out of camp. So making sure new guys like Bucky Hodges kind of, have the information they need to be successful, and then get the guys ready to go and then go execute the play.
As things slow down a bit, maybe since the beginning of camp, you kind of settled in, starting to find a rhythm. Yeah,
I think I definitely said to some of you guys earlier that just feel a lot more comfortable under center. Just OTAs was a bit. I had some. We had some to be expected, some under center quarterback exchange issues, but we've cleaned it up for the most part here, and just starting to feel a lot more comfortable after not doing that the last 8 years of my life. So that's going to continue to move forward, and I'm just trying to do what I can each day, whether it's footwork or mentally or protection. I've taken some type of step, and our offensive staff has done a great job with not only myself but developing all these rookies.
You lobby to get James on the field a little bit with you?
I will, for sure, but that's out of my control. Whenever he plays, he's going to get a lot of reps, and if it happens to be with me, then we'll make him count. If not, we'll make some plays with the other guys that we've been working with throughout camp.
Is camp going kind of how you expected, or a little different?
I think it has. It's been fun. It's been a learning experience. I think just learning how everything operates up here in Latrobe, and just kind of the flow of camp, the schedule, the off days, and how to utilize your time, your free time, and so it's anytime you do something for the first time, it's you kind of want to get there early and make sure you have the schedule down, that you have offense down, but I think it's definitely progressing the way I had hoped. Yeah.
From rookie OTAs, minicamp, all that stuff, to get to this point, is it finally good to see somebody in a different uniform?
Yeah, I think so. I think I've experienced it throughout high school and college. Like, you get out there, you're playing your own team every single day. You get frustrated because they start to learn your calls. They're cheating on your install sheets. They're printing your stuff out, and they're trying to game plan against you. And then you get out there in a game, and it's easy because those guys are scared, and they're all tight, and they want to be in their spots. They don't want to get yelled at by their coaches, and then you end up scoring points and driving down the field. So that's the way I feel this will go. And obviously Philly's a great team, and they're going to have their guys well coached, but so are we. So I'm looking forward to it.
Something special about this being against the defending champs this first time out?
Not really. I think if it was a regular season game maybe, but it's preseason, so that's kind of it's going to be a fun environment like any NFL stadium would be. But we're going to put together a good plan and go execute.
Man, really excited about this next step in the preseason for us, playing in the preseason game, taking this group into a stadium. It's always a lot of excitement, always a lot of angst, because it is first time for many of these guys in a professional setting. We'll be thoughtful about what we want to see from them, and what we want to see are the things that we've really emphasized in competitive situations here in Latrobe. Fundamental things. We want to see good pad level. We want to see good hand usage. We want to see good tackling. We want to see good ball security on the offensive side. We want to see good ball awareness on the defensive side. We want to see a guys display an understanding of the rule changes, particularly in special teams and the point of emphasis. We spent quite a bit of time working in those areas. If we kind of show solid effort in those areas, I think it'll be a pleasing performance. Obviously, there's a bit of unknown the first time, but it is for both teams. So from that standpoint, it's very fair. We're interested in seeing a lot of young guys. Some of the guys that about will play very little. We haven't solidified any particular play or no play or number of reps. It's safe to assume that some of the guys that have missed time because of injury will not be playing in this game. Guys like Vance McDonald and Bud Dupree, Antonio Brown, Watt, those guys that have missed practice recent days and probably again today because of injury will not participate in the game. But largely we'll like to leave the light on for as many people as possible, those that are experiencing the soft tissue or day-to-day injuries. I don't want to X those guys out. You don't have to this time of year. We'll leave the light on from some of those guys, even maybe those who maybe miss practice some on Sunday in some portion or whatever. We realize the gravity of this opportunity in stadium. You only get 4 of these opportunities to state a case for yourself. We recognize that what they do in stadiums is weighted a little bit differently than what happens out here. That's just the nature of this evaluation process, and this preseason is about moving from 90 to 53. So it's a big day for us. I didn't talk a lot about Philadelphia, didn't talk about Philadelphia at all, really. Obviously got respect for those guys and what they're capable of and the matchups. We'll spend some of today and a lot of tomorrow focused on that in preparation. But really this first time out, it's about playing good, clean, fundamental football. It's about what we do and the quality in which we do it as opposed to who we're playing and their mode of attack and so forth. I'm not worried about tricking Philadelphia because invariably you end up tricking yourself. We're going to take a fundamental approach to this first time out, as is standard, I'm sure, for a lot of people. Questions? Like you say, what's going on in stadiums is weighted differently. Is it what goes on out here prepares them to play, and then how they play determines?
Certainly.
And don't get me wrong, what happens out here counts, because usually what happens out here is a pretty good indication of what's going to happen in the stadium. Very rarely are you drastically surprised positively or negatively and see a performance in stadium that's not in some way revealed to you out here. So I don't want to make more out of it than what it is. It is weighted differently, but they're interrelated. They're tied to one another. This sets the stage for what happens in stadiums, not only in terms of performance, but I'm looking for displays of awareness, situational awareness. We worked a lot of situational football, particularly over the last week that we've been up here. I want to see that awareness show in stadium as we're moving the ball and playing legitimate football.
What are some of the ways that you all as coaches can learn about the rule changes and the way they're being enforced that you can, hear with officials in practice?
Even the day that we had officials, it wasn't a full crew. So the perspective on the play of the 22 men is not as thorough as it is in stadium. The only real opportunity that you get at that is in stadium and in preseason games. So that's one of the many reasons why I say that the preseason games are weighted differently. The cleanliness of your play, the fundamental the fundamental approach that you take, your hand usage in terms of being clean, will be highlighted more so in stadium than it is out here, quite frankly, because there's more appropriate and professional eyes on you in the stadium from an officiating standpoint. So that's just one of the many reasons why I said what I said regarding the weight of the two environments.
What will you be looking for in game action as far as the kickoff changes?
You know, more than anything, I want us to display fundamentals. Obviously, on the kickoff return team, I want us to gain possession of the ball. The three guys patrolling the vast amount of grass back there is new and different and different than in the past. And I think not to acknowledge gaining possession of the ball first above all other things would be inappropriate. I'm looking at how guys display an ability to play fast while they get accustomed to the new rules. Oftentimes in the preseason in particular, those veteran players play at a different speed than young guys. I would imagine that there will be some adjustments for all guys, whether they're rookies or veterans in that area of play. And I just quite frankly want to see who adjusts, the quickest or the smoothest in terms of playing speed.
Is that the most profound change of all the rules?
I don't have it weighted, to be honest with you. I just have a desire for us to master all of those rule changes and points of emphasis because it simply increases our chances of winning. I don't know that I've looked at it in terms of weighting or areas of importance. I want to excel at all of it.
Mike Quadri Henderson making the jump already to a pro level, now a whole different set of rules in terms of returning. Obviously, he was an elite returner in college. You can't really – can you simulate that in the practice field? Is it a matter
Man, his resume means absolutely nothing, as does everyone else's in that regard. I just think that's what's so exciting about getting in the stadiums and playing. Q's going to be 30 minutes from home, I think. I'm sure it's going to add to the intrigue of his story for the first time. I just walked off the walkthrough field with him and had a nice conversation in that regard. But it's a lot of those stories, and it's fun to watch those guys adjust and deal with the environment and the issues that are associated with professional football. It's all a part of it. And their ability to deal is usually reflected in their performance.
Mike, you're going to determine how you're going to use your quarterbacks, and how would you evaluate Mason Rudolph's progress so far?
I haven't determined how I'm going to utilize them in totality other than Ben will not play. Mason's done a really good job. But, again, he hadn't been hit. There will be attempts to hit him on Thursday night. So stay tuned, man. That's another one of the reasons why this is weighted differently. An offense's ability to maintain possession of the ball, or ball security, is much more difficult in stadium than it is in a training camp environment because a training camp environment is controlled in a lot of ways. You don't touch or get close to the quarterback, for instance. And so a quarterback's ability to secure the football really doesn't get tested until they play preseason football in stadium. That's why these opportunities are so precious, because that is a big element of the evaluation process of the position.
You said a couple of years ago that Landry Jones might have taken more preseason snaps at quarterback than anybody. But what about your depth now changes or affects your approach?
We're just taking it week to week because week to week the variables could change. Who's available to us and stuff could change next week. So I don't look at the totality of it. I have a plan in terms of how I want to approach this week. I'll harden that plan as I get closer to game time, and really I don't get any deeper than that. There's so many variables at play. It's a waste of time to delve into some of those thoughts and discussions.
Mike, will all three other than Ben play?
That is our intentions, yes. But again, I've said that to you before, and game circumstances play out a little bit differently. So I'm just being as transparent as I can with you guys. That is our intentions.
As far as your Antonio Brown's status and what he's dealing with right now?
He won't be playing in the game. He's getting closer to return in terms of his health, but he won't be playing in the game like some of the others who've missed time because of a myriad of injuries, whether it's Bud Dupree in the protocol or TJ. He won't play this week. Look forward to getting him back out there when we get back from Philadelphia.
You had mentioned in your opening press conference up here the onus that you put on first-year guys last year, making great strides to become better second-year players. I just wondering how your last year's rookie class has done in that context, and if anybody's truly showed out in that regard.
Again, I've seen evidence of growth in those areas. But this is, we got so much in front of us in terms of this evaluation process. When I talk about that, I'm talking about that should be displayed over the totality of this process. Because they've been through this process, they're able to look past today and have an indication of maybe what next week looks like. And that is an advantage, a mental advantage over a guy that doesn't know what next week looks like. So, it's probably a little early for that. Physical conditioning being an element of it, and general readiness. I think you see top flight physical condition from all of those guys, but that's reasonable. I think that'll continually be revealed over the course of the journey because they've been on the journey before.
I don't want to test your mental Rolodex too much on this, go back in the archives, but do you remember guys who have really just jumped out from year 1 to year 2 that have earned spots in the teams or elevated themselves dramatically that you've coached here?
I'm never surprised by that. We were just talking about Antonio. Antonio Brown went to the Pro Bowl the second year, I think, for the first time. Was dynamic on offense and dynamic on special teams, as an example. But there's many examples. I think that's more the norm than not, to be quite honest with you. It's just something about having a sense of what lies ahead and having experienced it that is reasonable to expect a significant jump in performance because of it.
Rookies, is there almost progression where you see them, they might stand out in rookie camp, but then when they get the OTAs, it's different. Or they get here and then they put the pads on and maybe it's different. Then they get to the stadiums. Is there guys that...
I think there's always some of that. That's why I'm always somewhat reluctant to praise or overpraise based on what I'm looking at out there, because it's just an element of the process. Experience tells you that.
When you said that you look forward to getting Antonio back after Philly, does that imply that he's not practicing today?
He's not, no.
Anyone else?
Did you look at that Gribble play?
I did. Touchdown. New catch rule.
They call it right?
They did. But not that they're familiar with the new catch rule, because those are some of my local guys. But they hey, it hadn't been an issue in terms of live calls on the field, man. All those plays have been called correctly on the field. It's gotten wacky in replay.
Mike, off topic, your college coach announced that he'll be retiring after this season after a long run at William & Mary. What has he meant to you in your development?
Man, I can't eloquently describe what he's meant to me. I had an opportunity to speak with him yesterday, and he and I have spoken quite a bit this summer, but that's not unusual. He's a good home base for me. That guy's been on his job 39 years. What better mentor to be able to call and share some experiences and gain some perspective. It helps that he coached me, man. I've known that guy since I was 17 years old. So I love him on a personal level, professionally. I admire him. I always have. He's been a blueprint for me. I just congratulate him on what he's done and wish him the best of luck on the challenges that lie ahead this year. That's the interesting thing about him and probably our relationship. We didn't spend a lot of time talking about his retirement. He acknowledged it, and then we quickly talked about, how they were going to attack the challenges that await this year. That's him. He taught me that. And I probably, display that with you guys routinely. That guy taught me that. He's a singularly focused professional guy. You felt it when you played for him. You always felt supremely prepared because he exuded confidence that was steeped in preparation.
How much are you looking forward to getting out there? First off, showing what you can do.
Well, I'm excited. I mean, we finally get to go out there and hit somebody else other than ourselves, so that's exciting. I'm excited about special teams. I'm excited about defense. I just can't wait.
What excites you? What excites you about that?
Being with the new team, just everything. I mean, how they warm up and just going through the whole cycle of just being with the new team is actually really fun.
We're excited, obviously be a first game in the uniform and whatnot. But, another day for us to go out and get better. As a defense, we know we've got a long ways to go, and, we got to keep building each and every day.
How much are you able to put that uniform on, showing what you can do to this fan base, too?
I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited, just to, go out there and play with my teammates. That's the, most exciting part. Like I said, we've been, grinding here, since, OTAs and, into the summer and then into, training camp. So all this, building that we've done, we're excited to, put that on film.
It's going to be exciting. This is the time we are preparing for. That means the season's around the corner. It's time to kind of put what we're focused on tape and build up for the regular season.
Do you get tired of being out there every day hitting the same guy? Like, is that energy of waiting for game day, you start to feel it?
It does. It's a different type of energy when you're going against your own teammates and then you're going against an opponent. The energy turns up when you're going against an opponent, so we're excited for it and we're ready to get it rolling.
Oh man, I can't wait. It's been a long time since I had two good arms, but no, I'm excited. It's been a great off season, and we've just been coming in every day, working, and just really trying to get ready for the season.
How frustrating was that last year to just have, one arm, you're not healthy, and most people didn't even know how bad it was for you?
Yeah, no, it was definitely frustrating, just the entire process. I was out there trying to do everything I possibly could with one arm, and it was just very frustrating, so that's why this off season, the main focus was the health, just get really healthy and just try to do whatever I can to get back to the team and just help them out.
You expect a lot more work as the games go on here, or the weeks go on, or is it just a trial and error to see what
I feel like it's trial and error for everybody. Everybody's going to take stuff from other teams because everyone's watching the same games, trying to figure out the best things to do, the best ways to kick it, the best ways to play it. So, there's going to be a lot of, watching each other throughout the league and find out what works and what doesn't.